Hi, my name is Tony Lagauche. This is Amery Bernard,
and we're here to talk about the 2010 Octane. The Octane is the next evolution in our rev style kite, and we're here to talk about that evolutionary process and the similarities and differences between the two. Some of the details that we're going over on the 2010 Octane are going to include the leech tension, along with the canopy profiles. We'll also talk about the strut placement and the LE build. And finally, we'll give you some tuning tips to customize the feel and performance of your Octane.
As you can see, the bridle locations are really similar from the Rev 2 to the Octane. We wanted to achieve a lot of the flight characteristics of the Rev 2 in the Octane to keep them very similar in their behavior.
Another thing that's been upgraded on the 2010 Octane are the Kettle scuff guards on all of the LE segments, and this does a couple things. One is that it stiffens up the LE, adds a little bit more of a wing-like feel to the kite, and second of all, it also adds scuff protection to these seams without adding very much weight at all.
And some of the big differences in change between a Rev and a Octane are the canopy profiles have been sped up quite a bit, and the leech tensions have been changed quite a bit. If you remember the Octanes, they had battens in the leech, so we really played on opening up the leech on that kite, and that achieves a lot of things. It speeds up the kite, makes it fly through the air a little more efficiently, and what we did is we figured out how to do it with struts. So if you look at this kite versus the old 2009 Rev 2, you can see the leech tension on that Rev is really tight all the way across the board. So if you look at this, you can see a little bit of floppy leech difference. There's not a lot of tension in this span, but once loaded, it'll tighten up nicely, and there won't be any flutter. But what it does is it actually it works with the new profile, and it makes the kite real slippery, and it works better on apparent wind like the old Octane did. The 2010 Octane Strut Cluster. What we did on the Octane is we've moved in the strut, 3 struts, into the center of the canopy more in the lifted part of the canopy, and on the strut build feature we stitched the strut all the way to the leading edge on all 3 struts. What this did is it locked in the canopy and gave us a lot of control over our profile.
And so what this means when you're in the air and flying the kite is that the struts being closer in control the canopy a lot more, and this is something that adds a lot to the top end range of the kite. So as you're sheeting out at the bar, you're getting less flutter in this area compared to a Rev 2, so that adds a little bit more high end to the Octane. And if we come to the wingtip of the kite here, there are 3 different options to choose from. Basically, the way these work is the further back you attach this line, the less bar pressure you have, and the further forward you put this line, the more bar pressure and feedback you have on the kite. So you can choose from any of these 3 to suit what you want to feel at the bar. Another thing that is affected by these 3 attachment points is relaunch. So if you want the best relaunch, you're going to put it further back. But if that is not so important to you and you prefer the feel of the kite over the relaunch, then you can move it further forward. The relaunch is still good on all 3 points, but best at the back.
Your backline adjustments on your steering lines is really a personal preference of how you want the kite to feel, how much grunt you want the kite to have, and also yeah, it just comes down to there's no wrong way or right way. If you find the kite is stalling on you and back stalling a lot, then you should move down to the end knot. If you find that you want more low end power and you're fly powered up and you have a good feel for where the backstall is going to be, so you don't backstall it. You can move all the way up, you know, and remove this link right here and achieve, you know, still a very grunty kite. So like I said, there's no real right or wrong on the backline. It becomes personal preference of how you want the kite to feel and how much grunt you want out of the kite. And you know, so just play with these settings and see where you like the feel at the bar to be, as far as all the way down, the most efficient, more apparent wind. As you move up, more grunt. But with grunt comes backstall. It's like an airplane wing. Pull back on the stick, you go up. Pull back on the stick, you go up. Pull back on the stick, you go down. So there's a point where the kite needs some airspeed or some wind, or it'll stall at these upper settings. So that's pretty much it. Play with it, and you'll find a setting you love.